With so many guitar lessons on YouTube, it can be overwhelming as a beginner trying to learn from the ground up, especially with so much conflicting information. In this series, we're combining the best lessons from the best teachers on YouTube without any of the filler. There are links in the description to all of the YouTube channels we're referencing, so please visit their channels, subscribe, and watch their full videos because they're all doing great work.
So my guitar is sitting on my right leg, and I'm going to pull that body all the way up to my stomach. Number one, I don't want to turn the guitar like this. As much as when we first start playing, we want to see what we're doing. I'm sitting up straight. This arm is going to come across here, right over the top here, so you can see how I'm kind of situating my arm so I can strum right over this sound hole. So I've got the guitar neck turned just a little bit up towards the ceiling, just a little bit, because if I pull it out just a little bit, this neck out, it's a little bit easier for me to reach and to play. If your leg for some reason is sitting at a bit of a downward position, the guitar is going to want to fall down. But if I was to put my leg on one of the little braces on the chair, it elevates my leg, and now this can sit even tighter in this position, and it's going to move even less.
I found Steve's advice to be straightforward and easy to apply. Using the wheel of my chair works great for elevating my right leg when playing.
When holding the guitar, usually most folks will put it on their dominant thigh. Well, this is known as the folk position, as opposed to the classical position where you do hold it on the opposite thigh, but typically you have some sort of stool or something to hold your left thigh up off the ground, and it holds the guitar at a different angle. The ribs right here of the guitar are going to rest real nicely there. You're going to take your arm and you're going to kind of just nicely, you're not gripping it like this, you're just kind of very, gently, gingerly just kind of holding it there like you would a stack of books or something like that. We don't want to be grabbing the neck like this. When you're holding the guitar like this, it allows for your body to hold the guitar in place so that the neck's not moving around.
Erich's advice was easy to apply.
Your guitar should be sitting on the leg on the same side as your strumming hand. Should be quite tight to your body. Don't let it be slipping too far forward. Also, don't be letting the guitar point forward and kind of falling over. It's a really, really bad habit. So make sure you're keeping the guitar pointing up and down. Now on an acoustic guitar, the top of your arm here will sit on top of the guitar. Right where the elbow is, so the arm's kind of hanging down, but your arms, and the combination of the guitar being up against the back there and your arm resting on it keeps the guitar neck really steady, because the one thing that you want to be making sure you're doing, whatever way you decide to play the guitar, is that your fretting hand, right, the hand that's going to make the chord shapes and stuff, the fretting hand is not supporting the guitar neck. Part of the combination here is that your arm resting on, kind of shoving the guitar a little bit that way, kind of pulling it into your body a little bit. The fact that the shape of the guitar has this little area for your leg to go in, it helps keep it really steady, and it should be, not rock hard in its position, but solid.
Yeah, that's what your mom said last night.
Now also make sure that you're not hunching right over like this, particularly I call it craning, when people are going like this to look over and see their fingers. Right, you should be able to still tell a bit, even though you can't see them right on. You don't try not to spend too much time with your neck craned over. You will give yourself a sore neck.
I definitely have a tendency to hunch and crane over the guitar, and it's something I'm becoming more conscious of and working to fix.
You want your feet to be planted flat on the floor and your legs to be just slightly apart like this. Now, how does the guitar go against your body? Well, if we look at the anatomy of the guitar, right, every acoustic guitar has this little kind of alcove here carved out into it. Now, it doesn't matter if you have a cutaway, if you have a jumbo-sized guitar, they're all gonna sit around the same area. So you're gonna want this little area here to tuck in on your upper thigh, and then the rest of the guitar body is gonna go against your actual body. Our right arm is gonna come around this general area here, and I'm gonna make contact with it just below my elbow and my upper forearm. And I'm gonna kind of hug it into my body very gently. Important to note here, if your arm is too far down, if you're leaning and you're breaking your posture, bring it back up to a straight spine and readjust. You also don't want your elbow to be touching the body here because your hand's gonna be nowhere near the sound hole. So find a nice little area here where if you were to put your palm down, you'd be covering the sound hole of your guitar. Now you'll notice that once this arm goes down, your guitar is gonna start kind of flying away this way, right? So That's where our right hand's gonna come into play to kind of counterbalance that movement to keep it in one spot. Just grab the neck very gently, very confidently. And what you'll find is that your wrist is gonna be very, very straight in line with your hand. If your wrist is ever doing something like this where you have a right angle, you can also use a strap to help secure the guitar against your body while sitting or standing. So right now I have the strap a medium kind of length. It's not tugging the guitar up towards my torso, but it is keeping it from, if I were to let go, it's not gonna fall into the ground. Now, all the same principles are gonna apply when sitting down, when we're standing up. So I still wanna maintain good posture. I still want my spine to be straight with my neck, relaxed shoulders. There's gonna be a little less stability in the guitar itself because normally this part of the guitar was resting against our thigh. It's now just floating in space. So our right arm is gonna be really in control of that. And our left arm here, instead of preventing it from moving out or back, it's preventing it from moving up or down, sliding around on our shoulder. So find a nice concrete place to stay grounded there. And the balance now is gonna be between upward and down movement and holding it to your body with your right arm.
When I plant my feet flat on the floor, my guitar tends to slide off my legs unless I'm sitting with my legs at a 90-degree angle or using a footstool. My left wrist doesn't always stay straight in line, especially when playing an open G chord. Angling the neck upward definitely helps with this.
You want to pull that guitar into you close over your right leg and then reach around with your right arm, pull it in close, just to make sure it doesn't move around, and try not to slouch or have the guitar leaning too far forward like this.
If you're using the casual method holding the guitar and you're right-handed, what you're gonna do is just set your guitar on your right leg. The first thing I want to talk to you about is this footstool that I'm using. I just put my foot on it to elevate my leg a little bit and brings the guitar up into a bit more of a comfortable position when I'm playing for long periods of time. One mistake that I see a lot of guitar players make when they use the casual method, newer guitar players anyways, is they'll slouch the guitar down like this. And the reason they're doing that is so they can see what's going on here with their fingers. You're gonna get sore after a while, it's not too good for your back. Pull that guitar and make sure it's upright like this. The third tip I have for the casual method is to bring your arm around, your strumming arm, and hold that guitar in tight, pull it close to you. That's gonna keep the guitar from slouching, and it's gonna make sure that the guitar is in a good position for playing and practicing for longer periods of time. Let's move on to the classical method of holding the guitar. I'm gonna take my footstool down here, and I'm gonna move it from my right foot to my left foot. And if you're right-handed, you're gonna put your left foot on your footstool, and then you're gonna move your guitar over to rest on your left leg. This is gonna bring the guitar neck over to the left, and it's also gonna elevate it a little more, so you're in a better position to get to all the notes on the fretboard. Now, this method for me is a little bit harder to use for longer periods of time, unless you're using a strap to kind of help hold the guitar up, but it does put the neck in a better position to get all the notes.
So let's talk about the casual method. You're gonna throw your guitar over your right leg, make sure it's in close to your body and not leaning forward like that or sliding down. If it does slide down, make sure you pull it back in, reach around with your right hand, hold it up against the body of the guitar, then take your left hand and come up and grab the neck to make sure you have a good position here. The second one is the classical method, and for that method, we're going to use a footstool. Put our left leg up, move the guitar over to our left leg, come around with your right hand, place it on the body of the guitar, hold it in, and then bring your left hand up again. Now you'll notice when you're using this method that you have better access to the fretboard with your left hand. You can get up higher without being as awkward. Now I'm going to show you how to play guitar standing up. Now one thing that you're going to have if you choose this way to play guitar is a guitar strap. So stick it on your strap buttons, put it around you, and just stand up with a guitar. Now if you'll notice, my guitar is in pretty much the same position it was when I was sitting down. This is really good because if you're sitting down and practicing and you go to a standing position, then your guitar is going to be in pretty much the same place.
I definitely slouch when playing the guitar. The footstool helps keep the guitar in close to my body. The classical method does not work for me at all. The guitar neck feels too far away. I'm a home player, so standing with the guitar isn't something I'm interested in.
Now the first thing we need to do is establish a seating position. And that's going to start with a chair without arms or a stool, just something that allows you to move your elbows freely and protect your guitar from banging up against the side of the chair. Make sure you sit with your back straight, and you can use this device, which we call a footstool, or something like it, that will allow you to elevate your knee higher than your hip. And that's going to allow your guitar to rest up against your body. Without the footstool, the guitar wants to slide down your leg. So the footstool does two things. It elevates your knee, forcing your guitar up against the side of your body, and it provides the proper angles for good left and right hand alignment. And we're going to talk about that next. Posture is important, so sit up straight, and we're going to put the back of the guitar up against the side of the body about where the thigh meets the hip. Now I'm a right-handed player, so I'm using right-legged position. If you're left-handed, you can just switch it around. So I've got my foot on the footstool. It's my right leg and my right foot. Now I know some of you are tempted to want to tilt the guitar out like this so that you can see what you're doing, understandably. But look what it's doing to my wrist. So what I advise is for you to keep your strings facing your audience. And this will do two things. One, as acoustic guitar players, we need to project our volume towards our audience. And then two, it provides a proper angle so that we can keep our left and right hands straight. Next, we're going to talk about holding the acoustic guitar as it relates to the fretting hand. You want your knuckles running parallel to the frets. It's easier to see like this. Watch this. My knuckles are nice and parallel to the neck because the angle and the knuckles are consistent. Proper neck angle, it's nice and comfortable. But if the neck turns this way, it's pulling my fingers away. And that makes playing chords and scales and everything else on the guitar much more difficult. Now when it comes to the picking hand, we should be in pretty good shape. We have our guitar up against the side of the body, strings facing the audience. We have a nice angle on the neck. Everything else should flow naturally. We're going to be running a 45-degree angle from the lip of the guitar, and we're going to split the guitar all the way down to the bottom E string at about 45 degrees, just like this. And you don't want your bicep over the edge of the guitar. You want the forearm over the edge of the guitar.
This video has great detail and is very thorough. I use an armless chair, and it's definitely worth the investment for playing guitar and not having to crouch at the end of the seat like a gargoyle.
Pick up your guitar, and there's a hump. You'll see this little space under your guitar. So I'm a righty. I'm going to lift my right leg into that hump, so it's going to sit right on my right thigh. And I'm just going to put my arm right over this other hump of the guitar, and then that's how you hold it. If you're a lefty, you would want to put your left leg into the hump of the guitar. Now, when we're holding the guitar, if you have your guitar strap, you're going to want to shift the guitar so that the neck is pointing up. This will take a lot of pressure off your wrist, and it'll be much better for you long term. I like to sometimes play in what we call the classical position, which is where you take the big bottom hump, this one here, and I put it between both of my legs. And then the guitar is really sticking up here. I don't particularly like doing this with an acoustic guitar because the body's so wide. It's a little bit awkward, but you can do it. Now, the unfortunate part with this, if you don't have a guitar strap, is that the guitar tends to point down, and this is not good for your wrist, and it makes it harder to play chords. So get that guitar strap and lift the neck up so that it's more comfortable. Some of my students have a footrest. They would put their dominant foot up on the footrest because they wanted their guitar higher. Or they'll hook the heel of their shoe if they're playing in a chair that has like a ledge, or a stool that has like a spoke. They'll hook it on that. Some people like playing with one of their legs elevated. You can do that.
Lauren's advice echoes what most of the other presenters have advised and works well for me.
So how should you hold the guitar when you're sitting down? Well, if you have a stool, like this one, you can sit, you can have your legs resting on the rungs so you can prop the guitar up. I typically do not like having the guitar on my right leg. I'm right-handed, I'm playing the guitar normally. I do not want to have this on my right leg because what that's doing is constricting my right side, right? And I have my left arm reaching across my body to try to get everything in tight, and nothing's really in front of me. So the way you correct that is by moving the guitar over to your left side. If I move the guitar over to my left leg, now the guitar, everything is directly in front of me. I have the entire fingerboard at my disposal easily with my left hand. My right hand is all right in front of me. I have full range of motion. The guitar is basically balancing itself. Now, those of you who've been playing guitar for a long time understand that this is the normal classical guitar position. Sometimes it's easier to have something to actually prop your leg up on to bring the guitar up to a more comfortable position. And again, I can basically let go of the guitar at this point, and it's holding itself up, and all I have to do is play. And again, I have all of the fingerboard at my disposal. So you bring the guitar up so everything is right here in front of you, and you can play things very easily. So if you have been having some problems reaching some notes, maybe transitioning between chords and bar chords and everything, it could just be something as simple as maybe you're not holding the guitar as you should be and making it a little bit easier on your body.
I tried the classical position for playing guitar, and it just doesn't work for me. It actually feels less stable than the conventional position.